What's up, everybody? So, I'm a little late, but I want to talk about the Game Awards just a little bit. Primarily, I want to talk about like where the industry's finally going and how the AAA video game bubble is gonna pop. Well, let's start with the Game Awards. So, for me personally, the Game Awards was like such a nothing burger. I mean, like just absolute nothing burger, right? Like, let's see, there we go. Sorry, I don't want people's license plates popping up in my vid. It's kind of invasion of privacy. Well, for starters, if you don't know, there's a game called Expedition 33. Excuse me, I'm gonna mess with this real quick. Shift it down. Shift it down. There we go. There's a video game called Expedition 33 that was made by a very, very small team. They consider it an indie game. Quite frankly, I think it clearly had more of a budget than a normal indie game, but it's whatever. I'm not going to argue with everyone. So this game, now mind you, I've heard about this. I've never played it, never touched it. I think the only thing about the game that I know of is there's some kind of like a deity that writes a number in the sky or somewhere where the whole world can see, right? And whatever number is displayed, if you happen to be that old, you die. And my friend, he started playing the game recently, and so he told me that it's actually a counter, and it's been counting down, and now they're on 34 or 33, hence the name. Outside of that, I know nothing about the game. It's a turn-based RPG, and that's it. Now, when I tell you that every single person, at least for me, when I'm online, when I'm on YouTube, and I'm watching all these creators and all these people, right? Damn near every single person cannot shut up about this game. There's a creator named Maximilian Dude, right? His whole thing is like fighting games. He plays other games, but primarily he focuses on that. He wouldn't shut up about the praises of this video game. There's another YouTuber by the name of The Truth, and he does Dokkan Battle, which is a mobile game. That's pretty much all he does on YouTube, and he does some other stuff, but that's his bread and butter, right? He too will not shut up about this game, which I'm not mad at these guys. I'm really not. But it just goes to show you the kind of reach this game's crossover power that, again, the guy who plays fighting games is like, this game's amazing. The guy who plays mobile games is like, this game is amazing. And there's a few others. I'm not going to sit here and name every single person, but it is long before the Game Awards ever happened. It was abundantly clear to me that this game was like the game. Like, people are going to talk about this crap. Again, please don't misunderstand my wording. I'm not talking crap about the game. I never played it, never touched it. Don't really have anything to say about it. That's just the way I talk. They're going to be talking about this game for like years to come. Like, that's how just phenomenal people are making it sound, right? So to the surprise of 0 people, that freaking game swept the awards. It won, if I counted correctly, 8 awards. 8. Best game of the year, best narrative, art direction, voice acting, indie title, you name it, it won. Now, really quick, this is just hilarious to me. There was another game that was in contention for Game of the Year, as well as several other nominations, called Death Stranding 2, which was made by Hideo Kojima, which, if you don't know who that is, he's the guy who made the Metal Gear series, very popular franchise. I can't remember exactly if he left Konami or Konami kicked him to the curb. I don't know who left who, but he started his own company, and he's already made 2 games. He's made Death Stranding 1, obviously, and now Death Stranding 2. His game won 0 awards. 0. And when they announced the winner for Game of the Year, and the developers of Expedition 33 started standing up, like they already, right, it's Expedition 33, they stand up and start, piling out of the aisle to go claim the award. You could literally see the dude, Hideo Kojima, get up and just leave. And man, I don't know, like, what a display of being a sore loser, like, I don't know, it's hilarious, I know that much, because Hideo Kojima kind of comes across as a very, like, respectable, very calm-tempered person, so to see him act out that way, it was pretty freaking funny. But anyway, the reason why I think the industry is finally starting to change is 2 things. Number one, I've complained about it on here a couple times. It's the price. Video gaming has become one of, if not, probably not the most, but easily the top 5 most expensive hobbies you can get into. All right, $500, $600 plus for a console to even play anything. The games are now $60, $70, $80, $90. Everyone is speculating that Grand Theft Auto 6, I think that's the number we're on, Grand Theft Auto 6 is probably going to be the first $100 game, and honest to God, it would not surprise me. Or how's this? It's the first $80 game. Well, no, sorry. That lovely title goes to Mario Kart World, which, I mean, obviously I have a huge bias. I don't plan on buying a Switch 2 any day soon, but that game just so does not seem worth $80. And I just can't help feel that Nintendo got everybody by the balls with that one. Kind of like Tears of the Kingdom. They just knew we were going to buy it. So they're like, F it, we're charging you extra because we know you're going to get it. Like, Nintendo's like the video game mafia. Like, you're going to pay. And we know you're going to pay. Because you can't stand not playing our games. You don't want to live in a world without a Zelda, without a Mario Kart. So you're going to pay. And I paid for Zelda. And man, oh man, don't even get me started on Tears of the Kingdom. Anyway. I'm getting sidetracked. The prices of video games is way too high, right? And that's primarily all the AAA, big dog games, your Nintendos, your Sony games, Santa Monica, Insomniac, all that stuff, your Microsofts, right, your Xbox Game Studio, whatever's, all those things. They're way too much money, all of them. You're out, closer. You're out closer to $1,000 than not for the console, and you still need to buy a game, and you need to buy most consoles come with at least one, but it's just like, if you have any kind of social life, you'll want to get two. And those controllers are like, on average, $60 to $80. So I just spent $500 plus tax on the console. I just spent $70, but I'll be generous. We spent $70 on a game. I spent $80 on a controller. Plus tax on everything. Like, I'm out $700 plus just to start the adventure of video gaming, right? So the indie scene, those are the games that are made by very, very small team, sometimes even just one person, two people, like very small teams. Their games, these indie games, are now big enough, grand enough, fun enough to hold their own against the AAA giants. And this was the first year where we really saw like just how it's coming to a shift in the industry. The Game of the Year nominees, trying to think, two out of the 5? It might have been 6 nominees, but 2 out of 5 were AAA, and 3 of them were Expedition 33, Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song. What was that other one? Oh my god, it's gonna drive me nuts. I can't, but 3 of them out of the potential 5 or 6, either way you slice it, that's half or more of the industry of the Game of the Year nominees were made by indie developers. It's gonna bug the crap out of me. What was that third game? I don't want to look it up, obviously I'm driving, but come on, what was it? Expedition 33, Silk Song. It was Donkey Kong Bonanza. It was Death Stranding 2. Does Death Stranding 2 count as an indie game? I don't think it should. Maybe a double A. I don't know. Anyway, I can't think of it. I'm not going to waste our time here. And so, like, Expedition 33 at full price, $50. 50. That's how much video games used to cost when I was a teenager. $50. Hillsong. Hollow Knight Silk Song, $20. 20. 2 of this year's Game of the Year nominees were less than $60. Heck, you could. Expedition 33 is on sale right now, as far as I understand from my friend. You grab it for $40. For $60, you can have 2 of the best games released this year. Can't do that with the other guys. Donkey Kong, $70. Dead Stranding, didn't bother to check. My guess, $70 or more. Not to mention all this like forced, woke, progressive ideologies and concepts that they like force into some of these games, I'm here to let you know right now, like, if you stand for that stuff, that's fine. I'm not gonna sit here and condemn you or like, oh, you're wrong or whatever, but just know that I personally don't believe in any of that. So you might want to look elsewhere. I will ruffle your feathers. The market's gonna change. The industry's gonna change. And it's gonna change for the better. More people, like, for example, like I said, like, you know, all these indie developers who got nominated, like, I wonder how many people like myself were at home watching this and said to themselves, I could do that too. Like these indie developers are very small team people. You know, like, what was it, Team Cherry or something like that? They're the guys who did Silk Song. Like, there's like less than 20 people on that payroll. The Expedition 33, I'm pretty sure they were trolling, but supposedly it's like 33 members or something like that. I don't know how true that is. You know, people on the internet, you can't trust nothing you hear on the internet these days. Fake news. But they were smart. They reached out to, you know, to get financial aid, publishing, you know, all that stuff. Like, they outsourced it basically while they sat and just worked on the game. Now, there is one hurdle that these indie developers are going to need to kind of like work on, and that is so, for example, there was an indie game that came out like maybe 4 years ago that I really wanted to try. Oh man, what's the game called? Pseudo Regalia or something like that. It's the one with the goat leaf, right? That game is praised very highly, but it's only on PC. It's only on Steam. Can't get it on no Xbox, can't get it on no PlayStation, ain't on no Nintendo. PC only. Thankfully, the Expedition 33, Silk Song, like, these were all on consoles. But there's a lot of great games that, unfortunately, from these indie developers that are going to slip through the cracks because they're only on PC. Now, I don't know. Maybe your unc's really just old. But it's like, I'm not... Like, I don't know if maybe I'm an outlier. Maybe people who own home consoles are the minority and PC console or PC users are the majority. I really don't know. Maybe I'm one to get with this, and that's very possible. But I'm pretty sure, call it a hunch, but I'm pretty sure there are more console owners and users than there are PCs, because with the PC you either have to buy something that's drop a literal fortune. I was joking earlier about almost $1,000 for consoles, but if you buy a high end, well, not even a high end, but if you buy like a half decent PC that's good enough to run games, you're out an easy $1,500. Easy $1,500. I could buy a used Toyota for that much. Granted, it'd be a very old one, but I could. And that's like I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, you, the consumer, decide what's valuable to you. But that's wild to me to think that I would literally have to sit there and contemplate. I could get a used car or a brand new PC. What's it gonna be? Circling back though to this area and stuff that oh, doggone it, I lost my train of thought. Yes. We as the consumers, now that we, I think it's, like I said, I think it's been more than proven that the indie industry of game development can go toe-to-toe with the AAA and the big dogs. Having said that, we, as a consumer, our responsibility is to vote with our wallets. It's kind of like how I was talking about earlier about Nintendo. Like, Nintendo pretty much mafiosoed us into buying Mario Kart World, into buying Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, because they knew. They know. They're like, there's no way you're not gonna not buy the new Zelda. There's no way you're not gonna buy the new Mario Kart. And so, like, I'm doing my part. Zelda's where I draw the line. I'm not buying no Switch 2. I for sure as heck ain't buying no Mario Kart for no $80. I'm not doing that. Like, enough is enough. Especially, and it's even more frustrating because Nintendo for the longest time was one of, like, the best companies in terms of, like, customer service and customer relation, right? I remember I had a GameCube, and something happened to it. It was like, it just kind of took a dump on me. It was a platinum one, and it wasn't reading discs anymore. And and I got on the phone. I was like, I don't know, 20. I got on the phone, and I was just like, hey, blah blah blah. I bought this. I've had it for several years. Well, what time was that at? Because I got the GameCube when it came out in 2001, and this was probably like 2007, 2006 maybe, somewhere around that neighborhood. The GameCube went on the fritz. I call up Nintendo and I told them, like, hey, that's not reading discs anymore, blah 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 blah. I've been and I wasn't lying either. Hey, and Nintendo's like, all right, cool, box it up, pad it up, send it to this address, we'll fix it. Boom. Like, I don't recall paying at all for the repair. They fixed it. There used to be I don't think they have it anymore, but like, if you'd flip your consoles over, there'd be a 1-800 number and a picture of Mario, like, with a screwdriver in his hand, like the repair line, right? They fixed it. They fixed it free. And again, like, 5 years into the console life. They could easily have been like, oh, sorry, it's 1 year, it's a 2 year, 3 year, it's whatever. It was well outside of any kind of warranty that would even exist. We think warranties exist. Maybe a 1 year, maybe a 90 day, but not a friggin' 5-6 year. There's no such thing. Not for consoles. But they fixed it. And just to see how Nintendo's just like totally gone down the drain in terms of its customer relations and service is just it's just so sad. And then just to see how great they've gotten with, like, the video game, like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Sorry. Blah 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 blah. All that to this. You have the power. Unironically, you have the power. We have the power. Indie developers have proven their worth. Their games are every bit as good, if not better, than the AAA industry. All of us, our wallets, we have a metaphor needle, and we are the ones who pop the bubble. It's up to us. Buy the indie games, support them, Don't buy a game that are over 50 bucks, 60 bucks. Go to see because they've been 60 for a while. But don't do it. We have to show them that we're not for you guys up anymore. Anyway, that's all you're on for you today. Catch you guys in the next one.